This is the Brown Way to Money podcast, where women of color in business find their financial independence path. Because financial success is within our reach, but by playing by their rules, it is only going to take us halfway there. To succeed, we must take ownership of our voice with money. So, welcome to the Brown Way to Money podcast. But before we start, very quick, what an extra $500 will do for you or for your business this month? Well, maybe that is for payroll, to get that social media strategy, or to simply go and relax this month, take a massage, whatever it is. You could be the receiver of one of the micrograms we give here at the Brown Way to Money. If you want to have a chance to be the receiver of these micrograms, then pay attention to the secret word on this episode and then go to brownwaytomoney.com and submit your application. Your sales are slowing down. This is a month where your income is going to be lower than you expected it and that you planned, and your whole body is feeling it. What can you do? How you can navigate through this and still come to the other side with that money relationship completely healed and ready for you to not only pivot for more income, but know exactly what to do if this comes around again. Let's talk about it in today's episode. Sis, welcome back to the Brown Way to Money podcast. I'm your host, columnist covering financial stability for entrepreneurs of color. I'm the founder of the Brown Way to Money, and I am your sis talking here the money conversations that we have not talked about enough as a women of color, so that we can have that financial independence through our businesses. And today we are diving deep into something so real and so raw that every entrepreneur faces at some point on their journey. And that is slower months, income dips, dry seasons, income dropping, whatever you want to call it. And let's be honest, when that happens, it is not just about a number dropping, but it's a whole body response and your emotions, your faith can take a hit too. So it is worth to talk about it. But before we dive all in, make sure you stay until the end because I will be sharing details on what am I going to be working for my Forbes, my Business Insider or HuffPost segments and columns this week so that you can pitch me your stories and you can amplify your voice and your business. Okay, let's start this money conversation that is so needed to have. Why does a dip in your income feel so much heavier than just making less money? Because here's the thing. If you're working for a traditional company and that company has slower months, you're not freaking out. That is like a safeguard in the back of your mind that doesn't let you freak out. But why, when it's your business and you as an entrepreneur, you feel that is like way more than just making less money? Okay, let's break this open. When your income slows, your body knows it before you even realize it. You feel your chest tighten. You feel the panic coming from the tip of your toes all the way up to your head. And you feel it in your back, you feel it in your arms, your breathing pattern starts to change. That is your nervous system being triggered. But why? Well, financial trauma. That part of trauma is what is making your body have these responses. And I like to see it this way. Imagine like a scratch on a CD, like a little piece of dirt on a CD. I love CDs and I love my CD players too. And yes, I am taking you back to the CD player days. But that tiny scratch can throw a whole music off, a whole Ricky Martin album that was just released on that CD off, a whole Shakira album, our Beyonce album completely gone because somebody let the CD out and just a little piece of dirt got into that CD. And now it throws the whole music off. Well, same happens with your mind. One painful money memory, one little bit, one little experience, a scary phone call, a month where you didn't know how you would make the rent, a struggle that you saw your parents going through, a declined car when you were on your line on the supermarket, a client that canceled and you had to stop your business for 3 to 4 months, any little and big things can scratch your internal system. And every time something similar happens, like a low income month, it only picks up that scratch again. It takes you from seeing the whole picture to just paying attention to that scratch. Just like a CD player, it won't read the whole track that was good. It would just read the little scratch. It's not just quote unquote fear. It's just a pattern that your body remembers. But why does it happen so often when you are an entrepreneur? Is it that entrepreneurship is truly riskier, or is that our minds are wired to expect that chaos? Let's dive into that a little bit more. Because here's the thing. Most people don't realize that your mind really, really loves predictability. It starts when you are a little baby. What is the first thing? And the mamas on this podcast will let me know if I'm lying. But I know that my girl really, really loves predictability. That the first thing that they tell you, the sleep experts or the baby experts, they tell you, create a routine so that your baby knows what to expect next and it doesn't get as fussy as it is right now, or it doesn't get as frustrated as she was at that moment because she didn't have a structure and her mind didn't have, this is what is coming next and this is what is coming next, right? Your mind loves that predictability since you are a little baby, because it reduces the risk of, like, you can predict and control a lot. So your mind is like, okay, this is what is going to happen. We are most likely safe, right? So when you work in a 9-to-5 job, your brain trusted that paycheck because that's the way that we have been led to understand and believe the safety with money. Since you are little, they tell you, just educate yourself and go through the next certification and the next level so that you can have a stable job where you receive your money and you perform, and the conversation becomes more about performing rather than the conversation being around the stability of your paycheck. This reminds me a lot of watching the world champions volleyball team to play against the second world best. The best one will be point after point after point. You knew that was coming. So it was predictable, safe, stable, but your mind didn't pay attention. Like, if you are there, you are watching the game, you were not anymore after so many points paying attention to the plays that the winning team was doing. You were paying attention to what was the mistake that the other team was going to do. Two different perspectives of the same game. So now, as an entrepreneur, you are watching the underdog team making mistakes. What is the next thing? And it makes you hyper vigilant. Your brain is watching for failure because it learned the new pattern. The path is less certain. And I'm not telling you that this is on you. I'm telling you that this is how the narrative that we have created about entrepreneurship have made it seem. And that's why I make it a point with all of my columns and the amplification that I'm doing through the media to share these stories and make it very normal. Normalizing is part of the Brown framework because we have to change that narrative because of the way that we have been brought up to the entrepreneurial world. Now your brain has somewhere understood this path is less certain. But I think here's the catch. Sis, let me take a pause and ask you, are you implementing the key elements for financial independence in your business? There are 7 key elements you need to incorporate for your business to support your financial freedom. Not sure? Then take a 2-minute assessment and find out. Go to brownwaytomoney.com assessment and find out. But I think here's the catch. Entrepreneurship is not necessarily riskier. It is just our mind pays more attention to those shaky moments while underestimating the powerful wins that we have created. And of course, this fear and this narrative didn't start with you. It runs way deeper with hidden generational narratives, scripts that are influencing how you react to money today. And we talked about this on different episodes that I am going to link on the show notes so you don't have to scroll and look for them because I don't remember the names, but I am going to link the episodes related specifically to generational trauma and generational financial trauma so that you can expand. But let's talk a little bit about that today and how it connects to these reactions and what you can do to it. Listen, when you feel fear about money, it is really not only your personal story playing out. Barely is for anything that we do in our lives, but with money is certainly not one of those things. It is your grandmothers, your mothers, your aunties, your best friend, the person that helped you at certain point in your life, the person that you grew up with. It was your best friend. It was your best sis, your ancestors' survival patterns whispering in your ear. I was reading, and this is so on point for this conversation. I was reading one of the books that has become my favorite book this year, and is They Were Her Property by Stephanie Jones Rogers. And it really reminded me that money, for women of color especially, has always been about so much more than survival. And I'm talking about money in the different ways that has been perceived. Money, for women of color especially, has always been about so much more than survival. In any shape or form that money was perceived throughout the years. Money has been tied to safety, to autonomy, to the ability to keep families together, to freedom itself. So you're not just responding to today's numbers, you're carrying literally generations and centuries of protective instinct that say money equals safety, no money equals danger. And understanding this gives you power. Because when you see it or once you hear it, your brain is going to start to process it and change it. How do we actually release this deep-rooted financial trauma and start moving forward today? And this is something that I got to do with the last two people that I work one-on-one. Remember that last episode, I was like, this is something that we need to talk about more. Spontaneously, I opened two spaces that were gone within 72 hours. Because of that, I got to work through and I created 3 steps that I'm about to tell you to move through this, that they have implemented, that I implemented for all of these 5 years of working with this. But they are very strategic now that you can do. And that gave me the idea of opening for the next month 5 spaces where we are going to work, one-on-one spaces, you and me, where we are going to work on the financial reset for you and your business. So if you are earning already more than 30K on your business and you have hit a point stuck in your income, but also having this anxiety around money and not knowing how to move so that you continue growing and that your business takes off to provide that financial stability, then these spaces are for you. It's only going to be 5 of them for the next month or 2 months. I am opening for 1 month right now. I will see how my energy goes with the sessions. But if you want to work with this, then I'm going to leave the link below and you can take one of those spots. And we're going to work together for a period of time to go past this. Everything that relates to this financial trauma response, but also how your offers are aligning with the money story that you're going to rewrite or the old money story and the patterns. Are you messaging? Are your offers, pricing, landing pages, messaging, aligning with a money story that will serve your clients, or is aligning with a money story that have kept you on that loop of earning a little bit, but not too much? To claim one of those spots, just go to the link on the show notes and you will be able to do it. Okay, I have got a simple 3-step framework for you. To release this deep-rooted financial trauma. Now, when I say a framework, is a step-by-step, is process that you know that you can come back every time that this body responds and this financial trauma gets triggered. So step number 1, you're going to become aware of the trigger. What is the trigger? Is it when a client cancels, when a launch flops, when a refund hits? Like, when is it exactly that you feel that reaction? Or is it the thought of something? So you're going to become aware and you're going to stop right there. You're going to name it. You're going to acknowledge it. And then you're going to really put it down somewhere. In your journal, in your voice memos, whatever it is, text it to somebody, come to LinkedIn and share it with me, come to Instagram and share it with me. Whatever it is that you need to do it so that you become aware of the trigger. Number 2, ask, what does this mean for me? Is it really about the loss of money? Or is it about feeling like you felt? Or is it about feeling unseen? Or is it about feeling insecure? Like, dig deeper to the last thought that surfaced. So what does it mean for me? Let's say that my launch flopped. It has happened. It will happen. It's just part of the game, right? But let's say that this launch flops completely. And I'm hearing, feeling my chest tighten up, and I'm feeling and sitting alone on the living room, almost crying, thinking, I just don't know how to do this. So what does that mean for me? Well, if I don't know how to do this, that means that I'm failing to this. Okay, so what does this failing means to me? Well, that I'm very bad at it, and that I probably will be better served if I look for a part-time job instead of doing this. And what that means for me, it means that I have to recognize to everybody that my business didn't work, and then I will need to go and look for the job that I don't want because they didn't see me in the first place, because it was a toxic environment, or I just simply don't want to go back to a 9 to 5 because I enjoy spending time with my daughter and waking up with her and not being rushed. And what time do I have to get everything ready so that I can show up to another work? Like, you get the story, right? You just go through the same rabbit hole, if you will, with asking this question until you really find the last thought that is surface. And then when you find that, just flip the script. Imagine somebody that you admire. My girl Beyonce is popping up on all the headlines because she, Blue Ivy, and Rami were killing it. That's a masterclass on how you build and heal generational trauma all alone while you're making money, right? But that's another story. So imagine someone you admire, like Beyonce, perhaps Rihanna, perhaps J-Lo, perhaps Shakira, perhaps Bad Bunny. I don't know. You imagine your mom, your auntie. Just imagine somebody that you really admire and that is killing it out there and that is building what one day you want to build. Facing the exact same situation that you are facing with the exact same thoughts that you just had. Now, will they go through the self-doubt? Will they think it in the way that you are thinking it now? No, right? So how were they thinking? They will reframe it. They will reframe it, and that is the reframe that I want you to give. So take that same situation and ask yourself, what will Beyonce do? What would Beyonce think about this? What would my mom on this situation think? Maybe you would take me. You have known me for a long time and know how I go about these conversations. You can ask what Alejandra will say on this moment. What that person, my business bestie that is killing it, will say on this moment. Just take the third person and reframe it. And you will see how almost immediately your body will release that trauma because it was acknowledged, because you faced it, and because you are reframing it. So every time you use this framework, you expand your protection bandwidth. And that is how I really, really want us to look at financial trauma. It is a protection border that your brain, as the magical, wonderful thing that it is in your body that we have, is doing, is protecting you from ever having another dirt on that CD that will ruin your latest Ricky Martin album. It's not going to happen again. Girl is too good to happen again. So your brain's like, no, thank you. And it has created a protection border. So every time that you use this framework, you're going to expand that protection bandwidth. You move from reacting to responding, and you reclaim that power. Just remember that a lower month income doesn't define your success. It happens. There is a different way of looking at cash flow when you are an entrepreneur. A great conversation with Paula Pond we had about this. I'm also going to link it below on your show notes. Now, this is an invitation to heal deeper and rise stronger. Because sis, you're here to be seen, to be wealthy, and to lead the way that you want to lead. So this is part of the process. And let me know what triggers come up for you. I really, 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 really want to know this. What your biggest takeaways was from this episode? Because I may just invite you to come here on the podcast and explore it deeper with me. Like, why not? Let's do this together. Okay. Before I let you go, I am currently working on stories for Forbes about financial freedom and healing generational trauma. So on point, right? If you have a side hustle that turned into 6 figures or 7 figures, or if you want that to happen but have found it very struggling, I want to hear those stories. If you're starting a business to rewire your family's stories, pitch me your story. The link is going to be in the show notes as well. There's a lot for you to go in the show notes, so don't skip it today. And of course, share this episode with your 1 or 3 besties on business. The besties you are building their legacy. Until next time, just keep walking your brown way to money. Okay, did you hear something that you liked in today's episode? If so, don't keep it to yourself. Go ahead right now. Yes, right now. Before this episode ends, and send this episode to those 3 friends, 3 girlfriends that you know you can go to talk about finance, independence, money, business growth, entrepreneur life, and all of these juicy topics. Share this episode with them because that is the only way we can grow together. I'm Alejandra Rojas, your host, and I will see you next week.